So this is video reaction number 3 for Management 332, Human Resource Management. The video was how to start changing an unhealthy work environment by Glenn D. Rosfen. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not entirely sure. He is a psychotherapist, which that's actually the first time I'd ever heard that term before. I guess it makes sense that that'd be a type of therapy. But he started out the talk by giving a hypothetical example of what would happen if right before the talk you heard some rumors about about himself as the speaker, and how that could change the perspective of the audience as he is delivering his talk, which I actually found quite interesting. You don't normally hear that as the start of a speech. So he then went to ask the question of why is it so hard to change? And the response he gave was that people were talking negatively about their co-workers in their absence. He then defined this as backbiting. He then proceeded to give an example from ancient Greece, which included 3 questions. And those questions were, is it true? Is it useful? Is it helpful? Which kind of reminds me of the questions that my mom tried to get me to answer before saying anything of, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it necessary? And is it kind? I feel like I might have messed those up, but as far as I can remember, those were the 4 questions. Upon finishing his story, which he said that those 3 questions were the triple figure test. He followed it up by saying, who backbites in our community today, whether that be in your home, in the workplace, in your neighborhood? The answer he gave was women. And then after the laughter died down because of the joke, he included, and men, meaning everyone does it. Doesn't make it right, but everyone is doing it. So that then posed the question of, why do we backbite? It elevates us while lowering others. It makes the individual feel more important. And it's how adults bully each other without them even identifying that it's bullying. So, he then proposed how to get a permanent end to backbiting in the workplace. And he included 6 steps of how to do this. So, step 1 was to gather the group, whether it's your closest friends, whether it's an entire department in a workplace, if it's just one in particular team, gather that group. step 2. Ask them the question if they believe that backbiting takes place at that area. As he included, they're most likely going to raise their hands. Step 3 would then be defining backbiting for them by using the 3-figure test, which were the questions of is it true, is it useful, and is it helpful? And once you have defined that, you'd go on to step 4, and you then ask them the question of, would you like to work in a place with no backbiting? Again, most likely they're going to raise their hands. Step 5 would be to then write Gossip 2016 and then have everyone in the group sign it. And that means they promise that for 6 months that they will not gossip, which can seem a bit daunting, which is where step 6 actually comes in. Because you would take the piece of paper that everyone has signed, frame it, hang it up on the wall, then hold weekly checks with the group to see how it's going. To see, have there been a little bit of slip-ups? Were there times that a person could have backbit but decided not to? And just see how it's going. What is interesting fact that I found was when he said that 250 CEOs could verify that the Gossip 2016 method and those 6 steps worked. And not only did it just work of removing the backbiting, but people who would miss work or call off for sick or just didn't feel like coming in, those numbers went down. And the productivity of the company grew, which is actually quite impressive. But it's not just backbiting in the workplace that would need to stop, because backbiting is the adult version of bullying. So when the parents would be at home backbiting about co-worker, neighbor, he gave the example of mother-in-law around the dinner table, it's setting the example to the kids of, this is okay. You could do this. So, to stop kids bullying, the adults would also need to stop bullying each other. So that was video reaction number 3 for Human Resource Management.